Hello everyone and welcome to SUNUP. I'm Lyndall Stout. Now that January is in full swing, we're focusing on managing your cattle through the winter. Today's topic, managing your ponds and water sources. Here's SUNUP's Curtis Hare with Dr. Dave Lalman.
Winter in Oklahoma can present a lot of issues for cattle producers, and Dave, one of the issues is, with ponds, and as we can see right here, ponds are already starting to freeze over, so, ice is something that producers need to be concerned with, in regards to access to their ponds.
Cattle need access to water, 24/7 basically, and it's interesting that lower quality forage actually increases water intake, whereas high quality forage reduces water intake. So water consumption is still important in the wintertime. Cows that, when it's below 40 degrees, cows don't drink as much water, of course, as they do in the summertime. And generally, just in case folks need to know if they need to haul water or whatever, a cow's going to require somewhere in the neighborhood of about 1 gallon per 100 pounds of body weight, give or take. If they're lactating, they'll drink more. If they're dry, they'll drink less.
So in regards to, ice and having access to water, what are some things that producers can do to make sure that their cattle are safe, and some things that they need to just really consider just for ice?
Yeah, it can be a problem. And it's good to be aware for maybe folks that are new to the industry or haven't experienced it, that cattle in our part of the world don't experience thick ice that they can walk on very often. And so they're not, they don't know the dangers and tend maybe just to walk out there on the ice.
Especially those yearling heifers.
Especially because we know they've never seen ice on the water, probably only as little babies, maybe if they're early springborn calves or something. But yeah, the obvious resolution to that would be to find another source of water and fence them away from that pond if possible. But we understand that's not possible for everyone, so really the only thing you can do in those situations is to make sure you keep the water open so they're not walking around on the pond looking for an open water source.
And that means breaking ice.
That just means chopping the ice, do it every day, and make sure you have an adequate stretch of ice broken so that those cattle have plenty of water access. They don't have to crowd around it. Some out there on the edges falling through the ice.
Yeah, and as you can see, we got obviously drought, huge issue this past last year, and probably going to be going into the new year. And you can see the pond right here is severely drought stressed. So in regards to water quality, especially in the winter, how does that impact things?
Well, unfortunately, it's another impact of drought conditions. When you have evaporation of water, there's generally, most ponds are sediment, and if cattle have access to the ponds, they're going to stir that sediment up. That increases the total dissolved solids in the water, and as the water evaporates, the concentration of those total dissolved solids is going to increase. And so it can get to a point where it's a problem for cattle. General guidelines, if you have your water tested, it needs to be somewhere below around 3,000 parts per million is very safe. And that's a test that's easily done at our soil water forage analytical laboratory here in Stillwater. The cost is about $15 a sample.
And obviously, producers can always contact their local county extension office for water testing, for help.
They can help, how to sample the water. They're very familiar with the soil water forage analytical laboratory. They work with them all the time, and so yeah, they can be a big help when it comes to the water testing and forage testing as well.
Alrighty, thanks, Dave. Dr. Dave Lalman, beef cattle specialist here at Oklahoma State University. And to find your local county office, go to our website, sunup.okstate.edu.